Hello there everyone, it's Ryan Liberty, and in this video I will answer the question, what is post-traumatic growth, also known as PTG?
Ooh, ah.
Okay, so if you couldn't tell, I think post-traumatic growth is a good thing, and I'm happy to be discussing it today. I have notes, as always, and you'll see me looking down at them. But post-traumatic growth is an area that's still being researched. It's a relatively new term, and it's something that's kind of interesting. You know, most of us are pretty familiar with the term post-traumatic stress disorder or post-traumatic stress, and you can find that I have a video on that if you're interested in that term. But this idea of growth after trauma is a new thing, and it's interesting. So let's get into what it is. So people in general have a baseline resilience, which is basically your coping mechanisms for how you handle trauma, and people who have a low resilience, they are the ones who are more likely to wind up with something like post-traumatic stress disorder or a trauma and stressor-related disorder. Now, if you don't have a high resilience, the theory is that you may experience a traumatic event, and after experiencing that traumatic event, go through a period of post-traumatic growth where you build more resilience. You kind of like add a pile of resilience into where that hole was missing before, and now you are a much more resilient person, and should another traumatic event happen, you will be much more able to handle it because you have that resilience. I do also have a video on resilience if you want to learn a little bit more about what resilience is. But the crux of post-traumatic growth, PTG, is that you go through a period of bouncing back and getting some more resilience added to your life experience, added to who you are. So it's a cool thing. So what does post-traumatic growth actually look like, though, once we go through it? Now, the theory says not everybody's going to go through it, so I should just say that before we get into it. But what does that look like? So it looks like basically 5 things they're narrowing it down to in the research. Appreciation of life. So as you go through post-traumatic growth, you may have priorities and philosophies that you hold start to change. And this is something like you may start to choose time with your loved ones over working more and earning more money. You might start to see that as a more valuable thing as you rejigger around what you prioritize in life and how you view life in general. There's also your relationships with other people change. So all of your positive relationships begin to become strengthened, and this is a period where you start to learn what you would call your real friends are. You start to see things a little bit differently, and you start to really appreciate the people who are there for you, who mean something, who have a deeper relationship with you. There's also this period of finding new possibilities in your life. You may discover after going through this more things about yourself, and you may say, hey, you know what, I like to go surfing, and I always thought I was a night person, but I love getting up in the morning and seeing the sunrise. So just new experiences come into your life sometimes as a result of a traumatic event, and this is where post-traumatic growth comes in. Also, you start to find that you have more personal strength, so you may realize that you're good at things that you never even knew were a possibility before in your life. You may discover, like, hey, I'm really good at giving presentations. I'm totally awesome at rocking the stage and getting an audience excited. I would never have known that about myself before I went through this experience. And there's also this feeling when it comes to personal strength of, you know what, if I could handle that, if I got through that, I can get through anything. So you have this renewed sense of confidence about yourself. Now, the last thing that is theorized to come along with post-traumatic growth is a possible spiritual change. So you may be more open to the ideas that your life has more of a purpose, or you may start to see that there are common things that unite all of us. You may see that, you may call that God. You may see a wholeness or a oneness to the people in the world and the meaning in life in general. So all of these things, appreciation of life, relationships with others, new possibilities in life, personal strength and spiritual change make up post-traumatic growth. If you've experienced any of these after going through a traumatic event, I'd love to hear what your story is, so please leave that below. And I thank you for taking time with me today to learn about post-traumatic growth. Hey, it's Ryan Liberty. If you like that video, please give it a thumbs up, share with a friend, and leave any questions or comments down below because that would really help me out. If you're somebody who's gone through a traumatic event and you're feeling cut off from the people around you, I have a free course that will help with that, so please click to get it. And if you'd like to see the rest of my videos, please click subscribe. As always, I want to remind you that your life matters. Nobody can question your worth. However it is that you're feeling, whatever it is that you're going through, it's okay, and you are loved. Thanks again for watching.